Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein. What do you mean? Well, Sarah Ferguson, yes, the Duchess of York, she is involved with Epstein, and she is involved with Oprah. Let's talk about this specifically. Sarah sent Epstein an email saying, I want to make sure you're aware I'm going on Oprah tomorrow, and she is going to ask me about my debts, the entrapment of last year, and the press about you in January. It'll be quick and at the top of the show, all of 10 seconds, a very small piece. However, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this and seek your advice on how you want me to answer. It will be a tiny piece. This is straight up collusion. This is Oprah passing through a message to Epstein. And you know what? Jeffrey responded to Sarah with the answer that he was supposed to give. Jeffrey was unfairly characterized as a pedophile by the tabloid press. Many years ago, Jeffrey pleaded guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. He paid his debt to society and has sought forgiveness. I have nothing more to say.
In the past several years, very few criminal investigations have attracted as much worldwide attention as the Jeffrey Epstein case. News outlets, documentaries, and online discussions have examined nearly every detail, trying to understand how one man managed to stay connected to some of the most powerful people in the world while serious accusations surrounded him. As more legal files, testimony, and investigative reports became public, people everywhere began asking the same question. How was Epstein able to operate within elite social circles for so long? Jeffrey Epstein was known as a wealthy financier who built relationships with influential individuals across many fields. His network included political leaders, business executives, celebrities, academics, scientists, and members of royal families. These connections placed him in exclusive environments where reputation, wealth, and influence
outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay. When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, they're trying to me.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was...
Influence often shape how individuals are perceived. Being welcomed into those circles allowed him to appear trustworthy to many people who might not have known his full history. When Epstein's earlier criminal conviction became widely known, many observers wondered how he continued interacting with high-profile figures afterward. Critics argued that wealth and social influence sometimes create protective barriers that make it easier for certain individuals to maintain access to powerful networks, even after serious allegations emerge. Others pointed out that some people within those networks may not have fully understood the extent of the accusations or the details of the legal cases connected to him. Over time, government agencies and courts released thousands of pages of records related to investigations, lawsuits, and testimonies involving Epstein. These materials included flight logs, appointment schedules, email references, contact lists, and legal filings. Because many well-known names appeared in those documents, the public began analyzing the records closely. Social media discussions spread quickly as people searched for connections, patterns, and possible explanations. However, investigators repeatedly emphasized an important point.
And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them.
Appearing in a contact list, phone directory, or event record does not automatically mean someone committed wrongdoing. Epstein often tried to associate himself with influential people for business or social reasons, and many individuals had only brief or indirect contact with him. Legal experts explain that courts require clear evidence before linking someone to criminal activity. Still, the presence of famous names in the documents continued to spark public curiosity and debate. One of the figures frequently mentioned in online conversations was media personality Oprah Winfrey. Some individuals pointed to photographs or reports suggesting that she attended events where Epstein was also present. Others circulated rumors claiming deeper involvement. However, no official investigation or court decision has concluded that Winfrey participated in any illegal activity connected.
Epstein files, it literally shows emails that Jeffrey Epstein was creating designer babies. I really want to know why we haven't heard the DOJ talk about this, especially since some of the survivors said that this happened to them in Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico property, Zorro Ranch. How I found out that he was working with another person to create these designer babies is because I saw him ordering a lot of 23andMe kits, and he was sending them to a lot of different people as gifts. In this email, he was sending some to Woody Allen and his adopted daughter at one point in time, who is now his wife. And I started to see a lot of emails in the Epstein files of people saying that they were pregnant to Jeffrey Epstein, or even alluding that he had actual children. Like this email in 2011 to Jeffrey Epstein, and it appears to be from Sarah Ferguson. And it said, "You have disappeared. I didn't even know you were having a baby. It's so crystal clear to me that you were only friends with me to get to Andrew, and that really hurt me deeply, more than you will know. Congratulations on your baby boy." And this email in 2006 from Glenn Dubin to Jeffrey Epstein. "I get pictures of you flying over Mount Fiji, and I have to find out from Benghazi that you have twin babies. Eva and I are so excited for you. Please send pictures ASAP." And Glenn Dubin says, "Test tube babies, just thinking." Started looking up the term babies in the Epstein files, and this is when I came across this. It was titled Designer Babies in August of 2018, and he has it on like an agenda. Then I found this email, and it's from Brian Bishop to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's Designer Babies / Brian Bishop. So I looked up who Brian Bishop was, because I was like, why are they saying designer babies? And it says, Brian Bishop is a software engineer and a biohacker who gained attention for his attempts to fund and advance a do-it-yourself, or DIY, designer baby project using Bitcoin. His project aimed to utilize the CRISPR gene editing technology to engineer human embryos for enhanced traits, such as increased muscle mass or improved memory. And this is the next email I found about designer babies, and it's from Brian Bishop to Jeffrey Epstein, and it says, "Here is a deck about my designer baby project. I have talked with Austin again, and we have a series of questions about how serious you are about wanting this, and what are the ground rules for me."
To Epstein. Legal analysts often remind the public that shared attendance at public events or social gatherings does not prove misconduct. In elite social environments, influential individuals often cross paths at conferences, charity functions, and professional meetings without forming close relationships. The strong public reaction to these associations reflects a broader concern about how power operates in society. When a major scandal involving wealthy figures emerges, people naturally begin re-examining past connections, trying to understand who knew what and when. Photographs, event invitations, and public appearances suddenly receive renewed attention. In many cases, these images simply show that individuals were present at the same function, yet they still fuel widespread speculation. Investigative journalists have also reported that Epstein actively worked to rebuild his reputation after earlier legal trouble. He donated money to universities, supported research programs, and developed relationships with respected academics and philanthropists. These actions helped him maintain an image of legitimacy, In high-status environments, endorsements, or partnerships with respected organizations.
If I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
Well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset.
Yeah. And a guy who could move money around. Right. He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain. Yeah. He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, if you're state-funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a construct. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap?
Yep.
So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman, I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s, and she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are juggling around. While
he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously...
Can significantly improve how a person is perceived, even when controversies exist in the background. As the investigation expanded, attention also turned toward institutions that had accepted Epstein's financial donations. Several universities, charities, and professional organizations faced criticism for not examining his background more carefully before accepting his support. Some institutions later returned donations or issued public statements explaining that they were reviewing their internal policies to prevent similar situations in the future. These developments sparked a larger conversation about how organizations evaluate donors and how financial influence can sometimes affect decision-making. The case gradually became more than just the story of one individual. It developed into a broader discussion about systems of influence and accountability. Critics argued that wealth and powerful connections can delay investigations or reduce scrutiny in certain situations. Others responded that the eventual release of court documents and ongoing legal actions demonstrated that the justice system was still functioning, even if progress appeared slow. This disagreement created a noticeable divide in public opinion.
You can get paid a lot more than that.
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500, but I'm prepared to outbid him anyway. Whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me. I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs. Yeah. If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. Mm-hmm. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured and recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody,
Yeah.
And it's life for
George Bush.
No, the best eggs are 16 to 18 years old. Those are the best eggs.
16 to 18-year-olds.
Your eggs get weaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you may not be our top candidate.
No, that's fine. I know it's my business anyway.
Social media played a major role in shaping how people interpreted the unfolding events. As new documents became available, online communities began analyzing every detail, including timelines, travel records, and communication references. Some users focused on verified facts, while others spread unconfirmed claims and conspiracy theories. Experts warned that mixing confirmed information with speculation could mislead the public and distract attention from the verified findings of official investigations. The Epstein investigation also raised difficult questions about celebrity culture and elite social networks. In industries such as entertainment, finance, and politics, influential figures frequently attend the same conferences, fundraising events, private meetings, and investment gatherings. Because these spaces are small and exclusive, individuals who do not know each other personally may still appear together in photographs or event lists. This reality makes it important for investigators to distinguish between casual association and direct involvement in wrongdoing, a difference that is often overlooked in public discussions. Another factor that fueled public interest was the mystery surrounding Epstein's wealth. Financial analysts and journalists have debated for years how he accumulated his fortune and maintained relationships with billionaires and global leaders. Some researchers believe his ability to connect influential people with one another was as valuable as any financial service he provided. By acting as a facilitator who introduced powerful individuals to potential business partners, investors, or organizations, he positioned himself at the center of multiple social and professional networks. As more legal documents